Basic appraisal procedures, page 3. Problem identification, step number 1. Identify the client and intended users. Then, identify the intended use. Then, identify the purpose of the assignment. What type of value? Then, identify the effective date of the opinion. Then, identify the relevant characteristics of the property. Then, assignment conditions, extraordinary assumptions, hypothetical conditions. Underneath that, you get your scope of work. Extra note, you're not allowed to say mold because it could be something, just say black gooey substance. Look at what your work is going to be. Take that pick of contamination. Copy, enlarge it, master it on something test you take from all the way up there to all the way down here. Underneath scope of work, you get step number 3, applicable data collection and analysis. You get market area data. Collect information on the subject. Then subject property data. Then comparable property data, pull comps. Then your market analysis, what is the highest and best use? Highest and best use analysis. Underneath that, you come to step number 4, application of the approaches to value, cost approach, sales comparison approach, income capitalization approach. Underneath that, you get step number 5, reconciliation and final opinion of value. Averages, I want the values weighted, extra note. Reconcile something, I can't really tell, makes it right, I don't know. An extra note, meet the needs of your client, extra note. And then finally, step number 6, report of defined value. Has the appraiser-client relationship. An intended user is a party identified by the client at the time of the assignment. The client is always an intended user in an assignment. Additional intended users may be specified by the client when the appraiser is engaged. An additional intended user may or may not have the same need or use as the client. Therefore, additional intended users is an appraisal assignment. Might require additional steps or a different process for the appraiser than if the client was the only intended user. Identifying the client and other intended users assists the appraiser in determining the expectations and requirements of the parties relying on the appraisal report. So simply, what the appraiser does from here out in the appraisal assignment should meet the needs of the client and other intended users. Extra note, contemporary, southwest, it always the date you're physically inspected the property because the place could burn down. Key terms, limiting conditions, Statement by the appraiser explaining the framework used to reach the appraisal value. Multiple listing service, MLS. A listing service whereby local member brokers agree to share listings and commissions on properties sold jointly. Partial interest. An interest in real estate one may have other than the full bundle of rights. Reconciliation. Analyzing the values derived from the different appraisal approaches to arrive at a final opinion of value. Scope of work. The type and extent of research and analysis in an assignment. Specific data. Information that is relevant to the subject property. Two types of specific data are subject property data and comparative purpose data. Subject property data is data that includes information on the subject property site and improvements. Comparative purpose data is specific data that includes information about comparable sale properties, as well as income and cost information. Extra note that everything you condemnation, I don't know what the hell that is. Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice, USPAP. Professional appraisal standards promulgated by the Appraisal Foundation and widely recognized throughout the United States as accepted standards of appraisal practice.